Two tiny pinpricks of light in the massive darkness for Conservatives. One is that the Greens have lost at least 2 of their 4 lower house seats. Adam Bandt, their leader, might even lose his. Make that 3. On the other hand, in the Senate, they will probably keep their 11 seats and be Labor's go-to party to get laws passed. And the other relative good news for Conservatives, the other global warming party, the Teals, look like losing 1, even 2 of the MPs who won last time. Former ABC journalist Zoe Daniel looks like losing Goldstein in Melbourne to Liberal member Tim Wilson, the former member there. And in nearby Kooyong, Monique Ryan is only a fraction ahead of the Liberals' fast-finishing Amelia Hames, getting most of the postal votes. That'll be a nail-biter. Joining me is the panel, Steve Conroy, former Labor Senator and Cabinet Minister, and Michael Kroger, former Victorian Liberal President. Michael, 4 months ago, the coalition led Labor. But on Saturday, Labor won twice as many seats as the coalition. What on earth happened?
Well, 6 weeks ago, Andrew, Peter Dutton was on 72 seats, which I mentioned a number of times. He was 51.5%, 52% TPP in all of the polls. So all of the problems people say that the Liberal Party had, they were known 6 weeks ago, but still Peter Dutton was 1.5% to 2% in front on the two-party preferred vote, or 3 to 4 if you put Labor at 48 to 52. All of that was known. Something happened in the last 6 weeks. Well, I'll tell you what happened. 2 things predominantly. One, Medicare happened, and Labor scared the living daylights out of every Australian, and you could see the Liberal Party drain away as Albo produced his card. And the second thing is they associate us with Donald Trump, who is not that popular in Australia. And I'm absolutely sure, by the way, Andrew, that Albo said in his call with President Trump this morning that one of the reasons I got re-elected, Mr. President, was I got all of my team to say how much you were hated in this country and how I associated my opponent, the bloke you don't know, we associated him with you, and because you're so disliked, I was re-elected because of you. So thank you very much, Mr. President.
I will bet my house he did not say that. Look, congratulations,
sure
Stephen. The Labor Party has had an absolutely massive victory. I mean, it's bigger than Bob Hawke's, it's bigger than Kevin Rudd's. That's the kind of thing that can go to a man's head, particularly if his name is Kevin Rudd. Although Albanese this morning was trying to keep it real, even walking to work. Some on the right now say, oh, watch out with all this, it's going to lurch even more to the left. Frankly, I doubt that, Stephen. I think he wants to be more reassuring, a sort of father figure type. What are you expecting?
Well, look, Albo, and I've known him almost all of his political life. I think we first met in 1984 or 85 at ALP, National Young Labor Conference. And he was a young firebrand back then, but I've watched his progress through the years. I've been in cabinet with him for 6 years, and I've watched him evolve from that firebrand, and he's been deliberately set out to govern from the centre. And I think that he will continue to govern from the centre. That doesn't mean he's always going to be centre, but the centre left, leaning to the centre. And I think those who have underestimated him and keep talking about, he's going to lurch off to the left, really just don't want to accept that he's completely outplayed them. He came out after Christmas. He was firing on all cylinders, and Paul Erickson devised the campaign strategy with Albo. They came out hard. They laid out a string of policies on women's health, etc., and they campaigned on it. They campaigned on Medicare. You need Medicare to protect these new initiatives, and we will always protect Medicare. And so I think you just saw it gradually begin to unravel. I think Trump, absolutely, I think you're both right. Trump was an overhang. The Zelensky interview, followed by the tariff craziness. All of that fed into the uncertainty principle. And Albo has absolutely been non-threatening in the way the Conservatives try to portray him. And so I think you've also got to just accept that Peter Dutton had a shocker of a campaign at a personal level. He, backflipped on policies. He stumbled in the policy enunciation. He had no support around him. Angus Taylor was a dud. Hastie was hidden in Western Australia. Jane Hume blew up over the work from home. They had to put her in a cupboard. So he just basically was on his, lonesome trying to fight a campaign single-handedly. Terrible. And then you read stories today. You read stories today about how they deliberately didn't poll in his seat because they were afraid of, they would destabilise him. I mean, this is an extraordinary set of circumstances where you deliberately don't poll.
I don't want to lose many of my audience to apoplexy about this list of... this will go down in history as arguably, I'm trying to think, the worst campaign ever run. You might say Mark Latham blew up a campaign by trying to wrench John Howard's arm out of his socket. But, that was one isolated incident. This was just one damn thing after another. Michael, given all that, the role of a leader is clearly so important. Who should lead the Liberals now?
Well, Andrew, I'm going to take my cue from Aaron Violi and say that this is a matter for the Parliamentary Party. Of course, I would have a view, but people who've been in the organisational wing trying to tell the members...
Let me rephrase.
Well, people in the organisational wing trying to tell...
What kind of person?
Okay, the person that should lead the Liberal Party should be someone that fully understands and is committed to our brand equities, the reason people vote for the Liberal Party. And the principal brand equity of the Liberal Party is economic management, tax reform, lower taxes, smaller government, tax cuts, getting government out of the lives of people, etc., etc. Someone that understands how to grow the Australian economy by massively reducing red tape so business can thrive. There's 80% of people in this country, their jobs are in the private sector. So you need a whole reform agenda based around slashing times for approval of all of the things that the federal government regulates, which principally, according with the states, of course, includes mining, for example. Taking 8-10 years to approve a new mine, that's just preposterous. And also debt and deficit.
The Liberals on this election campaign delivered on only 2 of them. Only 2 of those 5 things you think are essential to the new Liberal leader were acted upon in this past campaign we just had. Stephen is right.
Perhaps that's why we lost, Andrew. Perhaps that's why we lost.
I think you might be right. I thought the minute Tony, what's his name, Dutton, refused to match and beat the Labor tax cuts, I thought, that's it, you're gone. Michael Kroger, Stephen Conroy, thank you very much to you both.